Paul Simon on KLOS and The Obvious Child. Good morning to you. It's time for the Impact program. It's Monday morning, June the 22nd, 1992. My name is Frank Sontag, and Impact is the in-studio guest format where we discuss a wide variety of topics. But tonight's Impact program is a little bit different than most. For me, it's kind of like going home, because I have a dear friend in studio that does, well, shall we say, we could use more people like Ray Castellani in the world. Ray is the founder of the Frontline Foundation, an organization that's committed to ending hunger, immediate hunger in the streets and on the streets of Skid Row here in Los Angeles. Ray has been on the program. I gotta look sometime. 5, 4?
This is the 8th time.
Come on.
Yes,
really?
It was 1988 was the first time in December. So 88 was the first time. 89, 2, 90, 91, and now.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. Welcome. I welcome myself. You welcome me. I welcome you. I love you, and I'm glad to be here.
Oh, pleasure's mine. How are you?
I'm all right, Frank. I've been actually physically not too well, and in the last 5 or 6 months, in fact, since the last time I was on the show, I was very sick with an upper respiratory infection, and due to the fact I have no insurance or money or anything like that, I try to weather these things out. But this last time, I really got it, and also my resistance has been very low, and I keep getting reinfected going downtown because it's so intense, and so. When you ask the question, I'm telling you straight out, no, I haven't been well. And Noreen's pediatrician took care of me, and I had some antibiotics. But he said just rest. So I've for the first time in 4.5 years, going on 5, I wasn't able to go downtown and serve the people, but. A miracle, I believe, another miracle was that the volunteers picked up every bit of slack, both the volunteers from Frontline, uptown and downtown. So it still continued and worked probably a lot better without me.
Oh, I don't know about that. For those that have never heard you before, when you say go downtown, what exactly do you mean?
Downtown, the bottom of the barrel. Skid Row is a section of town in Los Angeles, probably 4 or 5 blocks surrounding Crocker Town, Wall, 5th, San Pedro, and Los Angeles Street, as far as 7th through 4th or 3rd, and it's where a society of beautiful human beings reside, but the human beings are at the bottom of their life, a lot of them are just hurt and by society, and have no place else to go. There's no tomorrows for most of them. So, and that's where I am.
And you try to do what?
I basically try or put an effort in to make a day, a moment, really, for the human being to have a little dignity, a little moment during the course of the day where I say, hey, how you doing? And they say, how you doing to me? How you doing, Ray? And care. I try to care for as many human beings while I'm downtown as I possibly can. Understanding, compassion. This is what I believe very firmly, and this is what I believe very firmly in. It must be implemented. Our society, our world society, must implement this kind of an attitude towards each other in order, and I believe this, in order for our society, our world society today, to survive. And I do not equivocate from that thought.
Do you do what you do solely for the reason that we might become extinct, or are there other reasons as well why you do what you do? Because what you do isn't real popular these days.
No.
In fact, you're seen by some as a troublemaker.
Right. Love and understanding, compassion, tolerance must surface if our society is to survive. The Roman Empire went down the tubes. Greed, selfishness, self-centeredness permeated some of these ancient societies, and we have learned nothing from it. And for survival, I would say yes, because greed and selfishness is me is covering, dominating our society today. How much can I get, and how fast can I get it, and how soon will I get it? And I'll put this away for my retirement, and I'll put that away for my retirement, and I'll put this away for my kids, and I'll put that away for... must accumulate everything so that my little house is secure. I don't mean the house that I live in. I mean the house within my own body.
Why do people do that? You've been there. All of us have been there at one time. What?
Fear. I believe fear is probably the most corrosive thing in the human today. Fear. I'm afraid of. I'm afraid if I get sick, I don't have the money to pay the doctor. I mean, you could write down that list. I'm afraid if I don't get an education, there won't be no jobs for me. I'm afraid if I don't work, I can't pay my rent. I'm afraid I'll be out in the street. There's nothing wrong with being out in the streets. It's getting to be out to the streets is the problem. Once I lose everything, I think I've said that before. Once I've lost everything, I have no problem. But it's losing it that's the problem. You know, first I lose my car, then I lose this, then I lose that, then I lose my house, and it's a terrible grind.
Ray, a popular perception seems to be that the homeless are lazy, that the homeless are different from our mainstream society in that they just choose not to adjust. There's a certain anger toward the homeless. It's kind of like the issue of welfare has been a political issue lately, like the welfare recipients are the problem. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. You know, no matter what one does, there's always going to be aspersions cast to whatever one virtue. There's going to be a price to virtue. But let me just say this: that if understanding and love and compassion and tolerance, if this cannot be rendered to a human being, whether they be homeless or not homeless, my God, what have we come to? The homeless issue in downtown Los Angeles, these people are homeless. I mean, this not because I like to be homeless, it's because I am homeless. Maybe I'm lazy, so what? There's a lot of people living in Santa Monica or various places like that are far worse off than the people living on Skid Row as far as their values of their own self goes. So much is done with talk, Frank. So much is said, well, I don't want to help those people because they're lazy people. That's the mentality that's killed us. That's the mentality that's killed nations. Again, it goes back down to selfishness. Why should I help him? Because he can help himself. Well, maybe they can't help themselves, but I'm the judge. I set myself up as the judge all the time, and so I've got to stay away from those areas. I think, everybody is judging, which way we should go, which way is the best, instead of saying, how can I best love my fellow man? How can I best contribute to today? How can I best be of service to a group of people? It doesn't make any difference whether it has to be on Skid Row, but while people are knocking, I can be constructing. While people are putting down, I can be building up. It's like the the races, Chinese, Japanese, black, white, Caucasian, I don't know what. I mean, there are no colors in the true reality of life. There is no color. And this really irritates my inner soul, because love does not know color. Love does not know down and out. Love does not know. It has no prejudice. A guy that, I mean, there are thousands of people out there right now are drinking right now, having a few beers. I mean, do I cast aspersions on these people? Do I cast aspersions on someone that can't talk too well? Or then they talk about the children. Everybody's worrying about the children. My God Almighty, we worry about the children. They're all being in a psychiatrist's office when they're 15 or 16 or 17. I mean, all it took is a little bit of love during the course of the path of life, a little bit of understanding, a little bit of say, how you doing? When instead of putting down. I'm so sick and tired of putting down. I'm so sick and tired of bureaucracy. I mean, people saying what they're going to do. I've talked in front of different groups of people, and my God, they all come up afterwards and they say, yeah, Ray, God, we want to help, because Frontline, not me, but an organization like Frontline affords a vehicle for people who are doing something, action, constructive action for mankind, an hour for a human being to come and pack a little ice cream Frontline is on its butt right now because all the money's going elsewhere. That's fine. $5,000 runs Frontline. We can feed 10,000 human beings a month on 5,000. That's everything. You'd think somebody would come up and say, gee whiz, Ray, let's help you. No, they'll go down downtown and start sweeping downtown, come uptown and say, hey, look what I did to help Los Angeles. My God Almighty, we've been talking about love and healing of this city for 5 years. That's all I've been talking about. And yet they'll put me down and Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Well, I'll stand alone on that issue too, you see, because when I first came on your show, Frank, I've served 40,000 meals on Skid Row in this hurtful area. We've just surpassed 285,000 meals. That's an action group. They come and they say, yeah, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And they're doing something. Instead of sitting around, and now they got Uber off and this off and who off and how off, and they're all sitting around talking about, well, we need this and we need that and we need this, instead of somebody saying, let's do this and let's do that and let's do this, and let's put my arm around my brother and say, come on, my brother, let me love you today. Let me talk to you today. And everybody's afraid. Geez, they're afraid. The drive-by shootings and why not pick up a guy that's going to shoot somebody and say, hey, I love you? What's the matter with that? My God, they're saying, how can I help you? Personally come out and help you. But no, they got to set up programs, thousands and millions and billions of dollars spent on all this stuff, when all it is just a simple fact of let me walk into the place and say, hey, how can I help you? I got to, maybe it's just a question of saying that the man on the street is just putting my arm around her or him and saying, yeah, how you doing? I've seen it change. You've seen it with me on Skid Row change. And I probably get castigated for this too, but it's okay. I believe. I don't have too many more days, really. The way I've been feeling physically, and I'm saddened by the fact that the emphasis now is on something else, and on healing and all that, and all these people come into the focus when the cameras are running and. Jesus, it's like I want to say, come on down and see what's being done in the true reality of what's being done. I'll show you homeless people and helpless people, but they won't. And the radio, they don't want to even touch me for some reason. I don't know why. Probably because I don't make any money. But I'd rather have done what I've done. At least this principle will work in theory, not in theory. I take that back. That's a wrong phrase. But in practical application, we were thinking about that when we came in. We saw the picture of the Los Angeles Coliseum, and we have served all those people twice over and then some. fills up the Coliseum twice. It's as many people as many food meals have been served. And action. It's not talk. Everything is based on talk. They were worrying about the Russians back when I was a kid. Gee, what happened now? What are they going to worry about now? And, it just goes on and on and on and on. Everybody's sitting around talking instead of doing. And they're going to allocate funds for this one and allocate funds for that. And, they talk about drugs and talk about killing. All these things. It's all talk. And they're going to be talking about it 10 years from now. Nothing's going to be done until somebody comes up and says, oh, yeah, well, this thing, we have a 2% recovery rate and we have a 3% recovery rate. And, I don't mean to talk too much.
Not at all. Not at all. Why do we do that? Why do we as human beings, kill our own, keep ourselves separate from one another? I mean, there was one time when we all knew we were God's children, and then what the hell happened?
I think it stems from the selfishness. That's what's happened.
Is that selfishness? Is it
It's based upon the fear, and then fear grows into selfishness. I mean, we have, monumental problems of our earth and of our societies and of our animals and of our. My God, nobody wants to address it. Nobody. I don't know who I was talking to today or somebody. If we have problems with our environment, let's all go back to the horse and buggy day. That's a revolutionary idea, isn't it? No more cars. No more cars. Oh, my God. That'd throw us all off. Do you see what I mean?
Absolutely.
But it's going to have to take something like that to make a change. Everybody wants to talk about it, but let's do something. No more cars. We just made a rule, no more cars. Oh, well, how will I get to work? How will I make my money? You want to see the world go into turmoil. Think about that one. But 25 years into the future, when we have no air to breathe, then you'll be wanting to say, well, I want to get a horse today. You see, you'll be getting a horse for your family and a buggy, and you'll be driving to work in the buggies, and it'll be all okay because I'll be forced to do that.
So we wait to the very end.
Till the end, right. And
the old crisis, and then we kick in.
Right. And it will be kicked in. It will be forced to be kicked in. When there's no more animals on the earth, and there's no more fish, and there's no more oceans, it's all polluted, and they can't surf anymore on the Santa Monica, then they'll do something about it, see. But until then, no. And now is the time to do things. It's already lost. It's already lost. The global warming, and serious stuff. But because it's not in our realm to do it, and because nobody has the initiative to take the initiative to go say, well, we won't do this anymore. No more. But they'll make laws, they'll put people into office that don't belong in the office, they'll cheat and they'll lie and they'll scheme and they'll do all these other things, but they won't put in application stuff that's going to make a change, make a difference. I work for the environment. What do you do for the environment? I go around talking to everybody. And they're cutting trees down for the animals to graze on, and the rainforests are going, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. So I'm downtown. They're knocking me because I'm feeding a few people, and they're knocking the homeless because they're lazy. What a silly thing. Should go around telling people they shouldn't drive in cars. Of course, I wouldn't have been able to come down here tonight.
Well, let me ask you this. I believe fear plays a big part in the reason why we have so many problems. You do as well. Are you afraid of anything?
I fear nothing.
So what do you know that, say, the honest question is that what most don't know, because most are fear-filled. We lock our doors, we bar our windows, we are afraid to say hi to our neighbors next door. I'm going to make this statement loud and clear, because I don't want to be misconstrued or which I will be. I believe in a God, superior being, whatever. I trust this entity. In the purest sense. I am only here to do the work that he wants me to do, whatever that is, which is say hello to my neighbor. I am, with this trust that I have into this entity, within my framework, within me,
I'm 59 now, getting older all the time. I walk with no fear. I am not afraid to die. I am not afraid to lose. I don't have much to lose anymore anyway. But no fear is inside of me. And that's the way I go. And anybody that knows me knows this is the way it is. I am not afraid.
Was there a time that you were?
Oh, sure. Frank, I was riddled. I love you, Frank. Frank, I love being on these, on talking like this, because, Frank, yes, I was all these things. I was riddled with fear. I was riddled with self-delusions. Self-delusion's another thing, that's a corroder of mankind. I self-delude myself into areas I don't even know where I'm at, and I used to be able to do all this thing. I used to be able to twist my mind, or my mind would twist me, whichever. And I was riddled with fear. I was riddled with self-delusion, grandiose ideas. I was riddled with selfishness. It was all for me, under the guise of giving it away, but it was all for me, and I wanted money, and I wanted property, and I wanted prestige, and I wanted everything, see. So I was just, my whole existence, my ego was of such that, it was horrible, because it was like, I was the center of the universe, and I had no universe to be the center of. That was the tragic part about it, but it was all manifested in my own mind. There's nothing that the human, me as a human being, that I didn't have or go through at one particular time or another to come out to where I am today. And the word is free. I am free of all these things. So I'm free to talk the way I want to talk. I am free to say this is what I believe in. Principles of caring, of love, of understanding, of tolerance. These are principles. These are guiding principles of me today. To see what I can put into, not take out of. I'm sick and tired of the grinding out. I'm here to save me. I'm not here for any of those reasons. I'm here to put in. I'm here to give. And as a result, that's what I do the best. And as a result of that, I do it in an area that's not the best location in town. But that's where I'm needed the most, is where not too many people want to be.
The obvious question is, what happened that you went from being fear-filled like most normal people to where you are now, and why, of all places, Skid Row?
I think, Frank, or I know, I think that I had I had an experience within my own framework of myself. It was sort of a calling. I had it probably years ago, maybe 15 years ago, maybe 10, I don't know, but I would probably say 15 years ago. But I didn't tune into it. I didn't want it. And I wanted other things. It wasn't a question of I didn't want to put the effort in. I didn't want to release all the things, all my wants, because I thought I'd stand here naked without anything and without any hope, and say, wow, I'd be a vegetable, is basically what I would be. And so it was a question of shedding these things through a period of maybe 17 years, maybe longer than that, and coming out with a clear view, probably about 7 years ago, that all as I am to do on this earth, or what my time allotted here, is to share what little knowledge I have with me to help somebody else in a literal sense. And so that's what I knew. Now, I knew this 7 years ago, excuse me, but I, again, did not want to be stripped down to that. But 7 years ago, I was totally, unequivocally aware that in order for me to fulfill my destiny, I had to go into this area, or into this slot. And when I began in that last slot, so to speak, excuse me, that's when I began to shed all fears and all anxieties of any kind. And I welcome death. All ideology is gone. All these worrying about what I'm saying or what I'm not saying. It began to lose, and I began to really then realize that, wow, I'm going into another space here, and that's what happened. My belief became greater as me as a instrument, so to speak. And remember, I want this clearly understood. Anybody that's listening, please, I have no religious thing going in me. I just have what I'm telling you is as straight as I can give it to you. And but I believe I'm an instrument to be used, and not for the betterment of the world, not for the betterment of anything, just for the betterment of a moment for another human being. And that's all my job is. I have a very small job in life, and that's what it is. And I'll be covered over. Now remember, my personal feelings about this is different than what I do. But my personal feelings is I believe I'll just be, I won't be heard. And I believe that, and that saddens me because the idea...
The idea works.
Yeah.
You've proven that, obviously.
Right. Well, I've proven it also, Frank, was proven, by many great people before me.
Absolutely. My in-studio guest is founder of the Frontline Foundation, Ray Castellani. We're going to take phone calls in about 10 minutes if you have any questions or comments, or you would like to know how you can get involved with the Frontline Foundation. We will welcome your phone calls in a few moments. Do you think we live in a too fast-paced society? You mentioned the word miracle early on. You see miracles all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Most people will go, miracle? What are you talking about, miracle? Too busy, running around, chasing... What's
Well, again, I say that when the world revolves around me, I really don't have too many times to see what can really happen, because I'm involved with my own world, my own self. So I really can't see something that's happening around me. I can only see that when I'm really a little bit more free of self. So the fast pace that the world is in, you got to remember that people are people, and they're going to do what they're going to do when they're going to do it. But the person has the power within their own framework to slow themselves down, to see to smell the perfume, to see the grass, to see they see the destruction, but they don't want to see the grass. You see, and. So that's my own domain. That's my own framework, to see the trees. How many people see the trees?
You said each of us have the power within us.
Right.
So you don't buy the old story about, well, I'm only one person. What's this guy talking about? I can't make a difference.
One person can make a difference. One person can make a difference. Because if one person can make a difference, then two people can make a difference, so on down the line. One person that's all it takes is one person. It doesn't take an army. It just takes one person. If one person believes in love and caring and understanding, and they care and understand for another person, then that person cares and loves, and it grows. It grows. I mean, hate is hate and fear and all these other things are corroding our society. It's corroded. It's corroded. A lot of times people are afraid to say what's happened or, we're losing the battle. It's lost. And if people begin to realize it's lost, I might be able to do something about it. There's hunger lines on Skid Row. All I'm doing is feeding a few people, serving food to mankind. Now, there's no reason for that to be those people that they can eat good food downtown. I can get some more food to serve to all of Los Angeles. So there's no reason for this. The only reason is the bureaucracy and people, money, greed, and all that other thing. Gee, we don't want anybody to know that Frontline Foundation operates on $5,000 a month for everything, and then can feed 10,000 or 15,000 people a month. You don't want to hear about that if you're making $250,000 a year on your job, on a social worker. I mean, God forbid. I want to stay in my little silver castle and do my thing. So here's the thing. The tragedy is here. The little Frontline Foundation has a method to serve food to humanity that can end the hunger. Can end it in the hunger lines on Skid Row. And we can't even raise $1. Can't even raise $1 because they said, well, the Coca-Cola. I'm not going to knock Coca-Cola or any of these companies, but they'll all be on to watch people running the races for the United States, for the prestige of the United States. We'll see Mobil, we'll see Reebok, and we'll see the basketball and the football. But what about a little organization, Frontline Foundation, that's bumping heads on Skid Row, a downtown Los Angeles of 7 million people, and it's serving dignified food to people? What about that little organization? The hell with them. The hell with them. I want to see Reebok and the running on the TV and the basketball games and the football games and the debates that they have. Let's talk about all these debates they have on the TV and do you hear
Let's
about
talk
all
about
that
the
stuff?
TV, period.
Well, think about it. Instead of saying, let's help this little organ, let's go help this church group, let's help these people, help the people. We're a funnel. The churches do. Some of those churches in South Central go down to Skid Row and serve chicken to people. But I want to help them. Maybe I should go help. They said, well, let's help. I go down to a little Spanish section in Van Nuys. They think I'm God there because I give them a little bread. Can you imagine that? A little bread. And there's gangs there, and they look at me, and they smile, and I can't speak too good in Spanish, but they smile. That's just fallout that I give away. I have a couple of extra loaves of bread, and and I just hand it out to the poor people, and they think I'm wonderful. God, I could be elected the president. They don't care. And this is action taken.
I have one more question for you. We got to take a break.
Okay, Frank.
Those that don't know what Frontline Foundation is, the way you talk, you obviously have a big building downtown, and people come up, and you feed them, and you have huge storage areas, and is that not right? You have a job in the city, don't you?
Yeah, making a ton of money, and I'm on food stamps, folks. I mean, and every little cent that I get in, this is me personally. So but I just want to say, I declare it. So they reduce if I get $50 in, they reduce my food stamps. I get $111 for the month. But I declare every cent that I make for a personal self. But on the Frontline basis, no, we have a place, and Sam's U Drive just donated us a van. It's an old van, but it's a beautiful van. So now, we have a big van to go downtown in, which is really great. But we have a building in Van Nuys that we rent, and we have a system. It's a little bit too long and too involved to go in, but a system that works. We have enough food to serve thousands of people. The system that Noreen, who devised, and so and then we transport this now downtown. We've been transporting it downtown. Hot food, good food, downtown. And the St. Vibiana, the church gave us their parking lot after all this time writing to the mayor, and nobody in this town would even step forward and say, let's help these guys with a lousy parking lot. But the Army came in, and they needed their little parking lots. They got them in no time. But to do what we're doing, boy, we don't want, no. But anyway, St. Vibiana, the big Catholic church downtown, they gave us a parking lot. So now we have our own little parking lot, and we bring the people in, and the volunteers are happy. The people are happy and off the streets. I want them in, and so this is, and we're on a thread. We're on like I said, $4,500 to $5,000 a month is that's the gross that comes in. $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year max I can feed. We fed 75,000 meals last year. And that's I could even do it even less than that if I had a few people that would donate a few more things. But can you imagine that kind of money?
It almost sounds too simple, Ray.
It is. It really is. But that's it. My books are open to anybody, and everybody that's sending money to all these other organizations, fine. Go in and see what they're doing. I invite anybody that donates anything to me to come with me downtown and see where it's going. Anybody. And I'm not the Jerry Lewis telethon or any other thing. That's a plug for Jerry Lewis. And I'm not any of these organizations, but it's a crime when I think that I have to struggle. And that's what deeply bothers me is that I have to struggle for that little money when it could be when a corporation like big corporations giving all this money to all these other because of putting their name across their chest and something like, and not $4,000 or $5,000 to help feed the people that everybody now is jumping on a bandwagon for in the city of Los Angeles. I'm not, oh yeah, I help Los Angeles. I help rebuild Los Angeles. They're going to make more money on rebuilding Los Angeles, billions of dollars. They're going to make millionaires twice over on this rebuilding Los Angeles baloney, and it all is baloney, because you know what? I'll still be out in the streets feeding the same hungry people, because they'll all be down on my end of this area.
I got to ask you one more question. When someone walks up to you, and you know what? We're going to do a show, I want you to come back in 3 months.
I'd come back.
Instead of, forget the 6 month stuff. In fact, 3 months. And I want you to talk more about what you see when someone comes up for food. What do you see in a face? Because most of what I hear when I talk about the homeless on my show, I hear from people calling up, they despise them. I think it reminds us of just how we don't take care of ourselves. What do you see in the face of a homeless person when they come up to you?
What I see?
Yeah, you.
I see a human being with a glimmer of hope. For a few moments, they're going to get something good to eat. They're not going to have to fight for their meal. They're not going to have to struggle for their meal. They're not going to have to get down on their knees and grovel for their meal. And I see a little bit of joy for a few moments. That's on the majority of people. Naturally, you're going to get some that aren't going to have that. But even the ones that aren't going to have that, they're still coming through the line. They're still looking. And if I can't give them hope, if we can't give them, I say we, I mean the people of the front line, the beautiful people of front line, can't give them hope, then we shouldn't be there. And hope is only given by the transformation of love through the meal to the individual, not through a process of words. It's action. And that's what it's about. So that's what I see. I see a human being coming up. I see one of God's kids coming up. And he says thank you. She says thank you. And that's what I see. I see God's kid. I see a human being. I see a broken human being. And I say, I love you, brother, or I love you, sister. That's what I say. I mean, there's so much love that they give me. It's unbelievable. And there's, like I said, a lot of hostility too. But I got to see through that too. I'm not afraid.
We're going to take a break. We'll open the phone lines, and I've got a couple. I want you to talk more about the actual what you need in terms of frontline volunteers. Talk maybe a little bit more about the procedure, and we'll have a lot of people I'm sure that want to talk to you this morning. If you would like to call up and be on Impact on KLOS, you can give us a call at any of the following numbers, and we'll look forward to talking to you. 213-818-310 area codes, 520-KLOS are the main lines, 520-5567. If you're in the 714 area code and would like to be on with my in-studio guest, Ray Castellani from the Frontline Foundation, you can give us a call at 977-KLOS. In the 805 area code, the number there is 629-KLOS. And in the 619 area, 570-1556. or 5701 KLOS. We'll open the phone lines in about 60 seconds, and we'll be back with more of Impact after this.
This Wednesday night at 8, 95.5 KLOS presents U2 Zoo TV on the radio, a 2-hour concert tour special featuring U2 music and an exclusive interview with Bono and the Boys about Achtung Baby and their record-breaking world tour.
Information is what seems to be ruling the world right now. Information about your politicians, information about the Gulf War, the CNN news reporters.
That's U2 Zoo TV on the radio, this Wednesday night at 8 on Southern California's home of rock and roll, 95.5 KLOS.
Michelle.
And I'm Ty from Music Plus.
And we're here to talk about the newest guaranteed hits at Music Plus, plus picks.
Every month we pick 10 hot new artists that we're sure you'll love and will give you your money back.
Absolutely no questions asked.
But hey, chances are you'll love the music because it's from astonishing new acts like
Archangels from Geffen Records.
With the rhythm section from Stevie Ray Vaughan's band Double Trouble and the incredible Charlie Sexton and Doyle Bromhall II, the Archangels' self-titled debut release is already setting the airwaves ablaze with their powerful Austin blues rock.
There's only one way. Just imagine the Clash with mandolins and violins, or the Pogues in more sober days. That's the Celtic rock of the Levelers. Leveling the Land from Elektra Entertainment is their debut release.
It's guaranteed hot hits, only $11.98 CD or $7.98 cassette.
Plus picks. At the place that brings you more hits on sale every day.
Only at Music Plus.
Only at Music Plus.
Cheap shots!
You know, another favorite American male pastime is talking about their cars. They all do that. Women don't do that. No. Do you talk about your car? You? No. No, you don't. No. Now, what do you drive?
Husband has.
Your husband? What bad thing did he do to deserve that?
He traded in my Jeep Wrangler.
Grounds for divorce, I'd say.
I love this guy. Get out of here, you knucklehead. Hey, don't forget, Jeeps are registered trademark of the Chrysler Corporation. There's only one California. There's only one Jeep. Jeep shots!
Did you know that every year 375,000 babies are affected by the illegal drugs their mothers use while they're pregnant? That's thousands of children who are abused before they're even born. Little babies who, if they survive, go through the agony of withdrawal, are more vulnerable to crib death, and who may forever be physically or mentally impaired. If you use drugs or alcohol and are pregnant, there's a number you can call for help. 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-HELP. If you won't do it for yourself, do it for your baby. Brought to you by the Partnership for a Drug-Free America.
Okay, we are back. Some reminders later today on Sports North. You'll have a chance to score a 2-day river rafting trip. I'm sorry. I just lost it. Oh, who writes these things? I'll read it literally. Tell me if you get my gist here. These people go to college and get degrees, and later today on Sports North, you'll have a chance to score a 2-day river rafting trip for two on the American River, courtesy of OARS, the Outdoor Adventure Specialist. This is an inside joke. If you're Todd Donahoe, that's it. Call later on. Forget it. It's one of those inside radio jokes. Ray, I'm getting tired, man. These are the late night hours. I don't know. You're here at midnight every few months. Mm-hmm. You're not a late nighter.
No.
Noreen's not a late nighter.
No.
And here you are. I mean, I want to say, I'd appreciate you coming down. You're the highlight of this show. I look forward to seeing you, and it's like
I don't know.
It's like a break. Like I said, it's like going home, because I know of your great commitment and the sincerity, and what can I say? Frontline Foundation, you need some help, needless to say.
Yeah.
How can some of my listeners help you?
If they don't want to come down. Now, you know that you have people in the studio here right now, these volunteers, not Noreen, but the volunteers, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 or 6 people, and they're all from KLOS, from listening to this show. So volunteers are needed. If anybody can, we're in desperately need, I said again, of funds. 50 cents, 25 cents, $1, I don't care. If they, that would help. Food, I don't need. But if somebody wants to head up if they know of a school or they're with an organization that can head up a one-item thing, a one-item for me, then I need help to get a specific item.
Of which you would let them know what item you need.
I don't want to mention anything over the radio here, but I would let them know. And so those are the one area right now is, of course, which I hate to even talk about, and that's the financial. The other area is anybody that gives me anything, or anybody that doesn't give me anything, please come down. I would love to have any volunteer to come down and help me in the kitchen.
And the facility's out in Van Nuys, right?
Yeah, and Lisa Matthews, she is the director of operations, she will let you know what days we're open all day long, and she needs help constantly there throughout the days. An hour max from any individual is really, I don't want any more than an hour and a half max volunteer time, and that's it. But if I need that desperately, I need it to clean. We keep the place sparkling clean. This is in Van Nuys. To come downtown and help me serve, you're welcome, more than welcome. So there's a tremendous network that we have. That we have old people, young people, kids. We have all sorts, all walks of life, women, guys, everything. So those are the areas.
If you'd like to volunteer?
Mm-hmm.
No clothes. What's the phone number to Frontline?
Phone number to Frontline, area code 818-780-1995.
This might be a rather unfair question to ask you, but I want to ask it anyway. You probably have thousands of memories of experiences on Skid Row that stand out at different times. Can you talk a little bit about maybe a couple of them?
Well,
for those that have never really gone down to Skid Row or have gone down and they're too afraid to even look around. Mm-hmm. You know, roll up the windows, keep your eye, oh God, don't let me hit a red light. Mm-hmm. Somebody might come walking up and knocking on the window, and then what would I do?
Well, then the normal procedure on so many of the guys downtown and women is that they have this a tremendous amount of affection for me that's unparalleled in anything I've ever experienced. But in the literal sense, there were several experiences, but this one in particular where a guy gave birth, delivered a baby on Skid Row. His name was Dale Glover, and he came to me drunk that day. It was a Saturday, and begged me to come over to the park, to where all his friends were. And he wanted, and as he was coming over to me, he kept saying, "Hey, I brought life into the world." And he was just awed by this experience. And he it was in the newspaper. It was also on the TV. And but the woman, right on this corner of Wall and Fifth, and he delivered the baby right there. But he wanted me to come over to the park with all his friends and show me off there and tell me that and have all the guys tell him to tell me what he had done. And it was like bringing me on the inside of their souls. He was so proud of the fact that he delivered the baby, but now he's doubly proud of the fact that he brought me into his group and wanted the group to tell me what he had done. And it was a beautiful moment to realize. And so many people, that when they talk about a drunk or someone that has been drinking, here was a man that was drunk and brought life into the world at that moment because he had no choice. A sober man might not have done it, but he did it. There was another incident where a man stumbled across the street, and his name was McAdoo, and he stumbled across the street, and he put his arms around me, and he said, I said, I have no food for you, Mac. He said, no, and he said, I just wanted to tell you I love you, and he staggered back across the street, and there's been a man that was in jail that wrote me probably one of the most profound letters, speaking of how much love and understanding I gave to him, and he's a very violent man, but yet he spoke with softness and courage, and many times I feel so humbled, probably. If I go downtown, every trip, I feel humbled, and I feel honored that I am used as this instrument. But I am humbled. I want to let you know that.
You've also said a handful of times before, contrary to the vision that most people perceive of Skid Row, which would be dirty, you've mentioned on a number of occasions you walk away feeling what you call clean.
Right, because it's real. Everything on Skid Row is real. There's no fooling around down there. And it's, I feel clean when I leave there. I feel clean when I go there, but I also feel clean when I leave there. Because of the quality of what's the word I'm looking for? The quality of frankness, of honesty. The quality of honesty is very profound, very profound.
You've said when you've hit rock bottom, you got nothing to lose and
nothing to hide.
Nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Want to talk to some people?
Go ahead. Be gentle with me, people. I'm only 59.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning. This is KLOS Los Angeles. And Ed, good morning. You're on the air with Ray Castellani.
Hi, Frank. How you doing?
Fine, thanks.
Ray, this is Ed.
Schieber. How you doing, brother?
All right, man. I couldn't make it down, I had a little bit of a headache,
Oh, that's right. That's okay, but you're okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I just decided I had to stay up and listen to you,
Wow. And you called. That's beautiful that you called. This guy's doing some job, Frank. You know Ed. I know you know Ed.
Yeah. Frank, this guy, I mean, it's something to hear when, we're all done serving the food and stuff. I just kind of wanted to make a little comment here. It's really something to listen to when, you got these guys, down from downtown standing around and they're all kind of arguing, not really fighting or violently arguing or anything, but they're sort of debating between them and then amongst themselves about how, who loves Ray the most. It's the funniest thing. Oh, I love Ray the most. Oh, no, you don't love him. I was here before you. You can't love him more than I do. I mean, and they do this little routine, and you sit and you watch in utter amazement. I mean, it's not like something you'd ever see anywhere else. It's just the most incredible thing. I don't know, I wanted to say that. And Ray, don't forget to tell them about the picnic we're going to have, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, very good, Ed. Wow.
You're the money guy.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I'll throw that in right now, Frank, real quick. We have a picnic coming up. It's the problem I have with fundraisers is I never speak about the fundraiser, but we are having a picnic fundraiser, trying to get all the frontliners to sell 2 tickets. They're $15, all you can eat. It's in the
Sherman Oaks Park, isn't it?
Sherman Oaks Park, right?
Yeah, on Hazeltine.
On Hazeltine and correct me, on Houston. Is that where it is? Hazeltine and Houston.
I think that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. But call the front line and please help. We need all the help we can get on this one. If anybody would like to come to the picnic, $15, all you can eat. It's a great day. It's on a Sunday, the 19th of July. It's a Sunday. So we're plugging our own little thing. That's to help us raise a little money. And all proceeds, I told you where it goes. Not in my pocket.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Ed.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, Ray.
Good night.
July 19th.
July 19th, yeah.
It's a Sunday, I bet.
Right. Not for you, Frank.
I might drag my butt out of bed. I read your newsletter word for word every time I get it, and I get 10, 12 newsletters, magazines a month.
Mm-hmm.
I scan. I get Frontline, your new word by word, and every time I see a function, I get excited because I want to go, and then I see Sunday, and I'm like, God, but I understand.
We had one on Thursday. You went to the movie with the AMC Theater movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll go down to Orange County and talk to Rob. Rob, good morning. You're on the air on KLOS.
Hi, Frank. How are you doing there?
Fine. How about you?
Better and better.
Good.
Thanks. Yeah, and Ray, how are you?
I'm okay, Rob. And you're okay?
Doing better. I just, how am I? I just graduated with my master's degree, and I feel real relieved. But I was thinking about how a friend of mine just recently asked me, her name's Mona, and real nice gal, she asked me if I would go with her to help some homeless people. And being caught up in my schooling and everything, I said, well, yeah, I'd like to do that. Catch me when I have some time. And now that I'm done with my schooling, I've been talking to her, and we want to put something together and take some action, like you've been talking about earlier on the show.
Right on, brother.
And I guess advice is what I'd like to ask you about in helping homeless.
You want to go downtown? Or you want to help homeless where you are in your area?
Whatever you recommend.
I mean, wherever you... Do you have homeless where you live?
Yes, I have seen them.
Well, then what you do is get a little jar of peanut butter.
Okay.
A little jelly.
Okay.
Get a few loaves of bread.
Okay.
Get a pot of coffee.
Got it.
And just make up about 50 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. A little coffee. Get some yourself, a little styrofoam cups. And go down to where they're at.
Yeah.
And just hand it out. You may have to go to 2 different places or 3 different places, but if you see one, stop them and say, "Here, my brother or my sister, here is a sandwich for the day," and
that helps.
And that's it.
That's
all you gotta do.
I've seen them like singly and individually,
well,
but I rarely see them, and it's sporadically. I can't.
Well, that's good. Then go up to them singly and say, "Oh, that's great." Just pull in your car and go with your girlfriend. Is your girlfriend?
Just a friend, but she's a girl, so.
All right.
Girlfriend.
Well, she's a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And just go and say, that's beautiful because you can really get on a level, a 1-to-1.
Right.
You see, if you want to come with me, you're on 1,000-to-1. We got 1,000 homeless.
Well, maybe we could help. I'd like to. I actually would like to join you sometime.
You're there. You never have to join anything. You're there. All you got to do is just come, and you're of help.
Okay.
You come from Orange County. We got a few guys coming from Orange County. A guy by the name of Mark and. But you'd have to call the front line.
Okay.
And you know the phone number?
Not yet, no.
Okay, 818
okay.
780-1995. Call and ask to speak to Lisa.
Okay.
And say, where you're from. That I spoke to Ray on the Impact show.
Great.
And then she'll direct you and she'll advise you how you want to do it. You could probably meet us downtown at St. Bibiana. Or uptown in the morning to make sandwiches in the morning on a Saturday morning, or however you want to do it, or Tuesday.
That's exciting.
So it'll be an experience. You'll love it.
Yeah, and I guess thank you. And I'd like to just add one thing before I go.
Got it.
And that is, I think I was just going to school, and I've been schooling it for years. And a lot of times I'm just worried about my own needs. And I have more clothes than I know what to do with, and I've bought so many CDs I don't even listen to, and I spend a lot of money sometimes on things that that really don't mean much, and I wonder if it's not just me, but do you see just people? Do you see a change happening with people in terms of giving towards others? I know I need to be that way more. I know I need to give more, not just to Rob, but to my neighbor or to the homeless and people. Do you see people changing towards giving more?
The people that I serve?
Just
or just people in general?
Yeah.
No.
No.
But your philosophy's right. Your philosophy is right. See, you can just give one thing to where you live in right now, to one human being, to the butcher, to the baker, to the car driver, to the
whoever.
Whoever, and that's enough. You've done it, and you don't have to do any more than that. Believe me when I tell you, it's that simple, and you have fulfilled that beautiful philosophy of giving, to give for the purity of giving and ask nothing in return. That's the name of the game.
Got it.
So, and that's principle must permeate in order for anything. Nothing in return, no self-gratification or anything, and you've got that.
Got it.
Hey, Rob?
Yeah.
I got two quick things for you.
Oh.
You know the change that you're asking Ray about?
Yep.
Guess what?
Yep.
That's the change in you.
Gotcha.
You're perceiving it in other people because you're seeing it in yourself.
Right.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
Right.
And the other thing is if you do call Ray, just know one thing. Your life's never going to be the same.
Whoa!
It's not even changed.
I'm speaking from self-experience.
Oh, yes.
Thanks for the call, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Kim, good morning. You're on the air on KLOS.
Good morning.
Hi, Kim.
This is the first time I have heard your show, and I can't even tell you how much it means to me. I was called to jury duty about a month and a half ago. I have a good story. Can I tell a good story to you guys?
Sure, if it's not more than 3 hours long.
No,
Okay.
It's not. There was a man, I was down there for about 2 weeks, and there was a man on the other side of the wall, shall we say, that you don't want to cross. And he was very nice, and people would, every day, the same people would come by and either give him food or give him money. He never asked for a thing. And one day he asked me for a cigarette, and I said, that's fine, and come on over. And he came over, and he had been watching me. I thought I had been watching him, and he had been watching me. And he said, thank you for the cigarettes, but he gave me a barrette. He said, with all that hair, he had been watching me for 2 weeks. He said, with all that hair, he goes, I bet you could use this. He gave me something in return, and it was just so strange to me. I mean, that he had been watching me when I had been trying not to look at him. You know what I mean?
So the moral of the story is what?
Is that they're looking at us the same way that we're looking at them in context of where are you at? You know, I mean, they're saying, I'm here, and what are you going to think of me? When you're thinking about yourself all the time. And I guess I'm not putting this across very well.
No, I think you are. How did that experience change you?
It changed me to where, I mean, I was afraid to go down there. It's my first time being in downtown at all. I've lived in Burbank all my life. And I was very uncomfortable. And it made it very easy for me. After those 2 weeks, I talked to the man every single day. And whatever I would share my lunch with him. After that day, he was just a person. Instead of someone on the other side of the wall that you didn't want to be associated with. You know what I mean? Talk to me here.
Beautiful.
No, I guess I'm not putting it across
No,
the way I would like to.
Yeah, you did.
I think you're putting it across better than you think you
Right.
are.
Yeah. That's great, Kim.
We're smiling.
Yeah.
What I would like to ask you a question. With your program in Van Nuys, do you have a literacy program?
Literacy?
Yes.
What do you mean by
For
that?
children?
I
mean, for volunteers.
No, I don't.
Frontline Foundation focuses strictly on feeding the homeless.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, no, yeah, I don't.
They're funded by the people.
Right.
It's not state funded. It's not city funded. It's not federally
I'm talking
funded.
a volunteer program.
No, your focus strictly is feeding homeless.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Why, do you have an idea? Maybe you want to start something like that?
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah. Well, Kim, if you have that feeling inside of you, then I would definitely start something like that, because there certainly is room for it. Anything any individual has to better humanity, I say, by all means, go for it. Everything will be laid out for you. You won't have to do anything as long as your motives are all right. So, it's my focus is on just the hungry. There's so much more I can do, but I can't do it because if I fragment my focus, nothing will get done. I must have complete, total focus in what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, I think you're doing an excellent job.
I thank you very much.
I invite you to find out firsthand, Kim. But I'm prejudiced. I love this guy.
I do, too.
Thanks.
I love you both.
Come
Thanks.
and see us.
Bye-bye.
Jack, good morning. You're on the air on the Impact program.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Jack.
Yeah, Ray.
Hi, Jack. Yeah.
God, I love you too, brother.
Thank you.
Literacy is like Literacy, you know, in case you didn't know that. Well, you got to be really frustrated, huh?
Oh, yeah.
You've been fighting your ass off your whole life, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, I was listening to you tonight. I couldn't help but call. I've never, ever called before, ever.
Beautiful.
And I just, heard you talk, and I'm going, what the heck? This is my man, you know?
Uh-huh.
It's like, what are you going to do? How can I help?
Uh-huh.
I just,
You got the phone number? You got the phone number, Jack?
So many people out there that need help, you know, so many things to do.
Uh-huh.
What the hell can we do, Ray, you know? I'll help you.
Well, we're doing it, Jack. You got the phone number?
Well, no, let me get a pen, you know.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is a first for me.
That's okay.
I just hear what's going on in your heart. I hear your heart's beating like crazy, man. You're frustrated. I know you are.
Frustrated, yeah. My heart's kind of easy right now.
But it's like you're one of the few I've heard, you know. You got a heart of gold, you know.
Thank you.
And I think I do too, you know. I got a good heart, you know. But there's so many things to do and so few people to do it.
Right, but the action.
Well,
the action.
Let me know what I can do. I'll help.
Okay, take this number down.
All right.
Area code 818, Jack. You got it?
Yeah, I got that part.
780-1995. 780-1995. You call.
1995.
You call tomorrow.
Is there anything else I can do?
No, just call and then come over and see.
I got a real big mouth too, you know.
Just call and Lisa or Noreen will be there, and just say, Jack. I spoke to Ray. This is Jack, and I spoke to Ray. And
Ray, is it working, man?
Downtown?
Is there any hope? Are we going to be able to pull this thing off, man? You know?
That's a good
Is there
question.
hope for the human race, or what? You know?
I can't.
I hope you hear me.
I hear you, and the reason I'm saying I'm paused is because
I just hear your frustration. You have so much to do. You got so much stuff in your heart. And there's so few people that really hear you.
I can't answer that question because I don't know. I
mean, no harm.
I don't want to give you. I can't answer that.
I want to help, but I just
you call me. You'll help. I need you.
I want to help a lot.
Okay, you call tomorrow, and I need you.
I'll do that.
Okay, brother.
God bless you, Ray.
I love you.
Bye.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah.
All right. Daniel, good morning. You're on the air on KLOS.
Hi, Ray.
Hi, Daniel. How are you?
I just want to say that you're one of the most courageous people I've heard on this program.
Oh, gee. That's a beautiful compliment, Daniel. But thank you. It's a beautiful compliment.
Okay. What I want to comment on is this thing you said about, where people perceive the homeless as lazy and, like it's their own fault that they're in this condition. What I want to say is that people generalize too much now. They cluster everybody together, and they say that they deserve this fate. But this is this is a perception that's very cruel. And
what are you feeling?
Let me restate that. What people think, people actually make that as an excuse. It's not really the truth. They know the truth.
What's your truth?
A lot of these people that are homeless, something in their lives that created this, they have something, a tragedy or they just fell by the wayside,
When you heard the program and you decided to pick up the phone and you talked to my producer in the other room, what did you tell him or ask him that you wanted to run by Ray? What was the point you wanted to make, or what was the question you wanted to ask?
Well, just that the people just make up excuses to shield the truth. I mean, they just don't want to really face the problem.
Yeah, sure, it hurts.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you doing to deal with the problem? Are you involved with any organizations?
No,
or
I'm not.
Uh-oh. We may be talking about you then when you talk about other people, huh?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I'll volunteer. Sure.
It's not what I'm necessarily asking you to do. Just know that the pain you think other people are perceiving, it's all about you. It's not about other people.
How's that?
Because you're not doing anything.
Yeah. I get you.
I mean, you picked up the phone, so it's a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to help yourself, partner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Call tomorrow, Daniel.
All right. Thanks, Ray.
All right.
Thanks, Daniel. We're going to take a few more. Steve, good morning. You're on the air on KLOS on the Impact program.
Yeah, hi. I was walking through the grocery store the other day, and as a matter of fact, just listening to the radio tonight, it kind of made me think of that. I wanted to ask Ray, you know, there's so many grocery stores and these big companies, Vons, Ralph's, and that. They have so much food on the shelves, and a good lot of it goes bad after a certain amount of time. And a lot of times they have to ship it out before it goes bad because they've got new food coming in. Where does all of that go? I mean, do they give the food to people like you to give out? Or does it just go and is it trashed? I mean, what happens to all of that?
I wish they would give it to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot
if it's
of
good food. You know, most of these big, see, they have what you call the LA Regional Food Banks, and they have food banks, Life, and different organizations like this, and they, you know, they have a hands-on thing, and they get the food, and they make deals with these big Ralphs and Vons and all these things to get all this excess food. And then this food is handed out to rehab houses, to church groups to give out to the people, the poor people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They stay away from me because they say, no, I'm giving it to this and I'm giving it to that. And yet this is, on Skid Row is where you can get 500 people standing in line for something to eat. So it's again, it goes to the bureaucracy of names.
So I suppose they'd be better off if they just gave it directly to people like you as opposed to...
Well, you give it directly to me, it goes to the streets immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but they don't figure that way. I you know, again, with what I got right now, because I don't have any backing, I don't have the funds or the finances, I could serve food every day downtown with the method I got. It's just that I can't do it on a limited amount of funds I got. So we serve about 1,500 to 1,700 people a week, and but I could do much more than that with no problem. So, but it's you know, I'm fighting you got to realize I receive nothing. I have a couple of employees, and they receive very little bit. Right now, their paychecks aren't good. But anyway.
Well, let me just close with this. I just want to something slightly off what I call that. Where do you see this country or the world, if you want to go that far, 20, 30 years from now? I mean, do you think that there has to be major changes in our thinking as a people?
Okay.
Now in the 90s, or do you think?
Okay, let me answer that with a question, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
The oceans, by Jacques Cousteau, we're losing the fish. The elephant is being extinct. The animals, the gorilla is being extinct. Many of our beautiful animals of our earth are most of them endangered. This is what has happened. Now, what do you think it's going to be after the animals go?
Yeah. And,
so, what are you going to breathe when you have the ozone layer of our planet that has got holes in it?
Mainstream media makes it out to be not so bad.
Well,
I wonder why.
You know, they're going to make it out to be not so bad until it gets so bad. Global warming. So I ask you these questions. You ponder those thoughts.
Yeah. No, I
overpopulation of the world. That from 1962 to
Is it hopeless? I mean,
well, no. I want to refrain from making my statement.
Yeah.
Allow you to make your statement because it's your statement that's going to count. My statement is already made.
Yeah.
But when you figure that we built bigger freeways. We have more supermarkets. We have more larger cabbages, larger peanuts, larger this, more housing, more this for the overpopulation of our continent that grew from 1960 to now to 92 to 2.4 billion, which was it was the whole population of our planet was 2.5 billion, and now it's 5.4 billion people. And if that doubles in another 10 years or 15 years, you have to answer that
question. We have to teach our children, right?
Well, this, again, the problem is not more housing. It's not more, the rainforest. We're losing it all. So I address all these, but nobody wants to go along with me because I'd be kind of radical for me to talk like what I would do. But I think
that you are one of those 1,000 points of light. Maybe not. I don't mean it in that way, but
I know.
A literal sense. You are one of those lights. And Ray, I want to thank you. I really respect you, sir. And Frank, I thank your show as always.
Thanks, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you, Steve.
We're going to take a couple more. Chris, good morning. You're on the Impact program. Good morning, Chris.
Hi, how are you?
Fine.
Hi, Chris.
And
Good.
you?
Hi, Ray. Yeah, what I can say is a lot of what the other callers said, so I'll skip some of that. But Ray, it's the first time I've heard you, and you've really touched my heart a lot. And my question was, you seem a lot different than a lot of the other charity-type groups, and I guess I don't have to mention any names or anything. And how do you get through all this bureaucracy? And I know it seems like that's your style, to stay away from that sort of crap. And I'm one of these type of guys that sit around and haven't contributed, and you've really gotten through to me. And it seems you getting out there, just giving people a little kick in the butt would give them. There's hope out here, and I think you're our man. And I also want you to elaborate on the differences between you and other
organizations.
Right.
Okay. Very quickly, Chris, right?
Right.
Chris, very quickly. Purity. Mm-hmm. I demand from this whole organization the purity of thought, honesty, and unselfishness. What comes in goes out.
Right.
If I get food coming in, that food is downtown. If it's not waylaid someplace, I don't store it. I don't save for a rainy day because it's always raining on Skid Row. So this is a direct link. Anybody give me any canned goods of food? I say, come on down and make the food and bring it downtown with me. So you don't have to say, I wonder where that tuna fish is going, as an example, let's say.
So do you really want a contribution from a big company, or do you want
I would take a contribution. Let me put it this way, Chris. We do it by thousands of little people and hundreds of big people. I mean...
That's where I come in, huh?
Yeah. Big companies I love. Small companies I love. Individual people, school kids. I've got kids in grammar school that give me 400 cans of soup a month. Kids in grammar school.
Yeah.
Those are big schools. Anybody that has ideas that can generate to help propagate what is being propagated here. Now the Frontline Foundation could also, could venture out to where there are problems. They could, like little units, could go and solve that problem, today or tomorrow, and say, whatever area is in need, let's service it, not change it. It's in the servicing that the change takes place. It's in the giving that something happens. It is not by words. It is not by people sitting around a room and saying, well, I think we should do this or I think we should do that. That's not what's going to do it. What's going to do it is saying, here, this is for you. Now, where does it go? I want to see where it goes. Here's where it goes. Oh, okay. And this is what I demand. My books are open. In fact, I publish everything in my little newsletter about all our financial stuff. So
that's good too. That's something.
Everything out
you don't get
front.
To hear from the other, organizations. They don't tell you all their
out front. out front. I want everybody and everyone to know exactly what's going on with me. When I'm down, I'm down. When I'm up, I'm up. If I'm out and I don't have any more food, then that's the end of it. That's the end of it. If I don't have any more money, that's the end of it. It's because 285,000 meals have been served. My God, the worst that somebody can say is
Build
Ray.
the Coliseum twice.
Right, and then some. So do you see what I mean? In other words,
You got me fired up, big time.
well, I don't mean to fire you up, but you want, that's the answer.
Reason,
Purity of thought, honesty,
okay, well,
unselfishness, and love. Don't forget that last part.
Okay, Ray.
I love
All
you,
right,
brother.
Love you guys.
Thank you, Chris.
Bye.
Take care.
Call, Chris. Don't forget to call. He's left the air, but don't forget to call tomorrow the front line, Chris.
We're going to take one more call. Craig, good morning. You're on the air on KLOS.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm a bit confused.
Ah.
At the beginning of the program, you guys mentioned that Ray's efforts get people mad at him. And I'm not too familiar with the downtown area or the downtown microenvironment. Yeah, it's 11 miles away from where I live. But why would anybody get mad at you for doing what you do? Why do you guys laugh?
Because I do it. No, because I do it for very little money, and when the amount of money that's thrown around on the homeless, on the programs to help the homeless, on the drug rehabilitation programs, on the advisory, I think I pronounced that wrong, committees, on it's billions of dollars. And when a guy, and on the surveys taken, that's another one, $4 million. We want to take a survey on what's going on Skid Row and why there's the food lines and why this and why that and how many people. When all this money, if it was put in to the right funnel, and I'm not saying I'm the right funnel, but I'm part of the funnel, was put into the right funnel, where nobody's making $200,000 a year or $50,000 a year and driving a Mercedes. If it was put into a funnel to the streets where it should go, where the people think it does go, instead of you don't know what I don't want to get into any because it's any controversy, but you don't know what percentage of the United Way that I get from the United Way after somebody thinks they give me $100, how much I get from that $100 check that they gave to United Way. You have no idea what is taken out. So this is why I pose a threat. This is why they say, hey, let's keep this guy quiet. So they don't want to hear from me. Where is that money going? Because I represent a $5,000 a month to serve all these people, and somebody would say, we give this organization $250,000 a month, and they only feed about 5,000 more people. How come?
Well, and that's me for being naive, but why don't they ask you how you do it?
I agree with you 100%. I don't know why. If I was the mayor, I'd be the first one I'd ask.
Maybe because they're more interested in padding their pockets than solving the problem.
Yeah, it could be.
So that's why. And the people, you ask anybody on Skid Row, you ask the news media comes down to me. I said, don't interview me, and I give them all the good stuff, like I'm talking to you right now. Mm-hmm. They don't put it on the air. They cut it out and make me look out like I'm a nice guy down there. And when and they cut out all this stuff on me on the Voice. And I said, geez, I had a good interview with these Channel 9, but they don't let me speak out. I say these things. I say, don't interview me. Interview the people of the street. Interview the people of the street. Interview the people of Skid Row. The people on the down and out. Let them be the voice, not me. I can say anything I want to say. Not the mayor, not the politicians, but the people of the street. Let them decide. It's a democracy, I think, is still in the United States. Let the people say what organization serves them the best, and then help that organization. But they won't do that. They won't take that survey. They'll stay away from that survey. That's the survey I'd like to say. If they don't like me, fine. I'll put what I got up. I don't have that much. But, let's take a survey of the people that are supposed to benefit from what the kind of people I am and you are and everybody is doing, instead of taking the survey of the organization heads of the departments. They're going to say they're doing a great job. Well, I'm not doing a great job. I'm just doing I'm doing a good job, but it's not a great job. I'm doing something.
Right, I understand now. They just want to perpetuate their own.
Right, and listen, they don't want people to succeed on Skid Row. Do you realize if the people of Skid Row there was no Skid Row, then what would happen to the economy down there? Don't you see? Where would all that money go?
Yeah.
Where would all those people, with all those jobs? They want the revolving door. This is a society like Van Nuys, a society. It's just called Skid Row. They're down and they're out. Let it be a society. But they'll go into South Central and help South Central. They'll go into Watts and help Watts. They'll go into East LA and help East LA. Why not go into Skid Row and let's help them a little bit? And that's my point. Just a little bit of the action over here instead of missions. So this is what my cry of despair if we're in the business of helping, why not the missions help me help the people? Nobody wants to help anybody down there.
That's what I called to ask you about.
Well, you got my answer
now, though.
Huh?
I said I understand now.
I love you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Craig.
Bye-bye.
The number again, the Frontline Foundation, if you would like to give them a call and volunteer your time or your energy or some financial donations, whatever. The number is in the 818 area code, 780-1995. In the 818 area code, the number again is 780-1995, and that number will be posted in the KLOS Community Switchboard if you didn't get a chance to jot it down. Well, I guess number 8's in the books, huh?
That's true, Frank. Wow.
We're going to go for double figures by Christmas.
Okay.
I want you to come back in September.
It'd be my honor.
End of the month.
My honor.
Ah, boy. Now you get to go. We do this every time. I mean, it's like you go, you're by myself all night long. Wah, wah. What would you like to say in closing?
I humbly thank you, Frank. And I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to thank the hundreds of volunteers that were sent to me through KLOS. And I'd like to thank all the volunteers of Frontline that have put in an extremely magnificent job of putting this together. And I want to thank all the people, the volunteers downtown on the streets of Skid Row that helped Frontline. And it warms my heart to know that Frontline can go, and certainly without me, and by the job that's done by these volunteers, the old and the young, and certainly this radio station's a major part of it. And because of you, and directly because of you, that was brought about. And so I thank you. I humbly thank you.
Well, I thank you. You had a little bit to do with it, too. See you in a few months.
Okay, my brother.
I love you.
I love you, too.
That's it for the Impact program. We'll have more after this. This is KLOS.